Hey guys, welcome back to Gondomar Season 3 in the Liga Portugal 2, or the second league in Portugal. Last season we were promoted as, Liga 3 North champions. We lost the champions final, but that's okay because we got promoted anyway. In the lead up to the season, I've made a suite of player changes, like a very, very large amount of player changes, so I'll go through them now. In the preseason, I brought about 13 players in, and the only players of note, about two of them that have left the club. So I've brought a lot of players in, not a lot of left. To go back right at the end of last season, just before I guess this season officially started, we lost Joel Pereira, as I thought we might, to a Super League club in Turkey for the minimum release clause that he had, which was 16.25. So I mean, big loss because he was a very good keeper, and we didn't get much for him, so the board weren't happy. But it is what it is. We knew that when we brought him on board. So part of the 13 players, the 13 players that we brought in, had to improve the squad as a whole, bring in some better quality Liga 2 stalwarts, but also sign a very good goalkeeper. And then we weren't too concerned about trying to shift players because we had about $1 million on payroll, so that wasn't a huge priority for us. So the players that left, apart from Joel Pereira, João Ventura was an acquisition from last season. He did very, very well in Liga 3, but as part of the acquisitions we made, we didn't really need him anymore in the squad, and he was on... an offer came in for him to pay the full amount of his wages, so we let him go because he wanted to be a key player, and he got very upset when I tried to change his player status. Another player that left was Cal Magno, not a key player at all, didn't do anything last season, couldn't hit a barn door, so we tried to shift him. We were able to find a club, Oriental, I think they're in League 3. Yep, League 3, who will pay most of his wage. So that's a win there. The rest of them are loans for youth. So to start with the acquisitions, first things first, that we brought in two players on free contracts that they were expiring from other clubs. The first of which is Manuel Namora, striker, to back up João Victor, the 30-goal hero from last season. This guy looks every bit as good as he does. So it looks like we've got two forwards that are relatively good for the squad, and hopefully will make a good impact in Liga 2. This guy, we were able to get him on relatively cheap for this division and as a fringe player, so like he's going to be as happy with as much football as he will get given, which is good for us. Whichever one of them scores the most amount of goals will obviously get the breadth of the game time. And second player we brought in was Francisco Macedo. He's a better goalkeeper than Joel Pereira, so we were able to improve the squad there, even though we lost him. Again, this guy's on a fairly high wage, but he's got a good value. I don't believe he has a minimum fee release clause, but 450k is very, very good for us if anyone was to trigger that. Next player, Diogo Oliveira, very good right winger. Oh, it says left wing, but he's right-footed, and we play right wing, so very good right winger. Brought him for 66k, so club record transfer. Looks like, well, we're hoping that he's going to be a very, very key player for us on the right wing. Alberto Soto alone, just a 3-star player cover at attacking midfield. Bradley Jesus, I'm not sure. He looks quite good here, but only 2-star rated. There are some areas which he could use some work in. He's not very fast, he's not very strong, but he's got a lot of balance. But he plays at striker and attacking midfield, so he's going to be part of the B team squad, hopefully trying to get them promoted into the championship. Andre Souza, left side defender, plays in the midfield as well, so he'll be cover for the left side and for defensive midfield. Thiago Ferreira, really good central defender, is going to be in the first team, starting most of the games as you got their regular starter. He's good defending and on the ball, so yeah, happy with him. Shuhei Kawasaki, left-sided attacking midfielder, from PTM. Not sure what that is. It's a first division club. Portinense. He looks quite good here, but only 2-star rated. He's going to be part of the B team squad, hopefully trying to get them promoted into the championship. Andre Souza, left side defender, plays in the midfield as well, so he'll be cover for the left side and for defensive midfield. Thiago Ferreira, really good central defender, is going to be in the first team, starting most of the games as you got their regular starter. He's good defending and on the ball, so yeah, happy with him. Shuhei Kawasaki, left-sided attacking midfielder, from PTM. Not sure what that is. It's a first division club. We have to pay, all of his wage plus a monthly fee, but he's a very good player, so hopefully he'll have an impact for us. Leandro Maciel, defensive midfielder, who'll be looking to play that halfback / ball-winning midfielder role. He's very good at defense. Jean-Marie, bought in for 2.8k, depth at the wing. Anthony Correa, defensive, central defender, very good depth. Guilherme Murray, again, very similar to Leandro Maciel, but he's on a very cheap contract and a squad player, so we'll give him some game time. But this guy looks very good, and he's Portuguese. And then finally Nathan, more left side cover on a $36,500 contract. So we've brought in a lot of quality in the squad. As for the tactic, we've moved away from the halfback. We're playing with a ball-winning midfielder and a defensive deep line playmaker. So we're hoping to lock down a defense in Liga 2 to avoid relegation or avoid conceding too many goals, and then get the ball forward. And this is our counter-attacking strategy. And then in our possession, our attacking strategy will play with an anchor, but this will change. It may be a ball-winning midfielder at some stage, and look to attack with our new wingers Kawasaki and Oliveira. João Victor still looking very good. Very good player for us, so he'll be our starting player, and then if he doesn't find form, we get in, where is he? Where's our striker? I can't find him here. We'll get in our striker, Manuel Manora. Sorry, I lost him for a moment there. So those will be our two options up front. As for the vision, in the next 5 years, it's basically avoid relegation and repair the financial damage, and then become established in Liga Portugal too. So not too hard to do. Looking like a pretty cozy season in Portugal too, if we can afford relegation, because there's not much expected of us. Finances, $1 million in debt. That doesn't look too bad because we started the previous season with $900,000 in debt. However, our salary has just about doubled since the beginning of last season. So yeah, it's going to be tough. I think the projections had us, $4 million in debt. So it's going to be a lot of pressure after this season to get to the Premier Division, the Liga Portugal B-Win. I think that's the sponsor name, but the Liga of Portugal. A lot of pressure to get there, to get the TV money rolling in, and start selling. As for the key players in our squad, we've got Pedro and Paulo, the two key young talents in our team. Unfortunately, both of them have been subject to increasing interest, not just from Portugal, but from overseas. Pedro is very upset that we are not selling him. He wanted to join Fiorentina in Italy. They lowballed us with a couple $100,000. We said no. He's very upset, but the rest of the squad is very happy with us. As you can see, against teammate, a lot of the players don't want him to leave because he's so good. The only other player on the team that's on Pedro's side is Paulo, the player with, again, even more interest in him, at a higher rate. So there's been bids coming for these two players in left, right, and center. If I look at the transfers out, and they're all very, very low. So I know that if we can play one season in Liga Portugal 2, these guys' values will skyrocket, and we could sell them for a couple $1 million. However, it's going to be very, very tough because we're in the financial position we're in for the board not to reject offers for these two if they come in, I don't know, above $500,000. So we'll see how that develops. We haven't hit the transfer deadline yet, but I anticipate that one of these players will be leaving before the end of the transfer window. Hopefully not both, because they're pretty key for us and they'll be key for the future. For the schedule-wise, there's some pretty big clubs in here. Chavez, and then all of the B teams. Nacional de Madeira, sorry, lost my words there. These guys were an established League One team for ages, and now they're a yo-yo club. They're very, very good. It's going to be tough to stay up. Sorry, it's going to be tough to get in that top half. We're going to have to really, really push with some good players. So hopefully I've made enough improvements here that we can push for top half. But again, as long as we don't get relegated, it's a win for the club. So we'll stop it there, and then we'll jump ahead to the end of the season. Hey everyone, welcome back to Gondomar S.C. As I took over the first year of Gondomar S.C. in the League of Portugal 2. It's the third year, third season. So how did we go? Well, I may have jumped a little bit too far, got carried away with doing transfers and stuff. So if I go back to the previous round, you'll see that we actually finished in 5th, which was massive for the club. Absolutely humongous year. We won 18 out of the 34 games, which I did not expect. So we won over half the games we played. We drew 9 and lost 7. If we sort by goals conceded, you'll find that we had the 4th best defense and the 6th best attack. So we were a very, very good and competitive team in this league. And for the first year up, it's pretty big. So we missed out on automatic promotion by 5 points. So if we turned 3 of these draws into wins, we would have gone up automatically. But it is what it is. If I jump into how the season played out, so we got off to a pretty slow start, winning only 2 of our first 7 games, which was kind of par for the course. At about this stage, I figured we wouldn't be competing for the top half, would be in a sort of a bottom half scrap, looking to finish a couple places ahead of the relegation zone. But then we started to pick up some steam, getting some good results against Villafranquenesc, Nacional, and Lexoir, and I don't know how to say that, Lexoir. So, and if you look at the final, I guess, standings, these 2 teams were in the top 3. So we beat them comfortably 2-0, had a lot of good wins, and then towards the middle of the season, that's when it came, I won't say unstuck, but I guess we lost promotion here with a couple draws to some not so good opponents and some losses here. So this sort of 6-game band was where we sort of lost promotion, I guess. And when we finished the season super strong, in like of the last 10 or so games, only dropped, how many points is that? That's 7 or 8 points. So that's really impressive. As for the cup, had a pretty good run. Got to the 5th round and lost 2-1 in extra time to Braga. It's tough, but after 2 consecutive extra time and penalty wins, I think I was ready to just about get out of that cup win or loss. So how did we strengthen the squad? It's always the most exciting part, the transfers. So just after I left you, we made a couple of transfers which changed the makeup of the squad dramatically. We made 2 key transfers before January. First one was Miguel Capatas. Now this guy is the key player for us. Star player, 200k a year. He was on cheaper than that, but I think no, he was on, this is what we signed him on, 192k a year. Very, very good player. Plays on both wings and can play up front. So plays in any of our attacking positions. Came from Sevilla, big club, and is worth a lot of money. So it's a good financial investment, even if we lose him. But I'll tell you what, he played like an absolute champ. 12 assists, 3 goals in 27 appearances. Very, very key to us coming 5th. As you can see at the end of the year, he's a lot of interest from him. There were some more clubs involved as well. So we'll have to do well to keep hold of him. He's a bit upset because he wants to go up, but we've promised him to sign some very good players before the next season, so keep your eye on that. Next transfer we made was Augustin Gonzalez. Midfielder, attacking midfielder, but we've been playing him in the deep line playmaker role. Very good technically, very good mentally, average physically, but he plays really well for us. 6.87, so the ratings don't match it, but watching the games, he's a very good player, can always find a pass. Also worth a lot of money. And then moving into January, signed Reginaldo on a loan, but couldn't give him as much game time as the manager wants, so they recalled him. And then in January itself, we made a few very, very good transfers. Justin Bakker, defender, but also plays. So when I saw this guy, I was thinking, yeah, he could do a job for us as a central defender. But I saw he also plays defensive midfielder, and he's very good at it. His stats for deep lying playmaker, I'll just show you them now, are phenomenal. Passing 15, good technique, good first touch, great vision, decisions, and composure. Playing out of that defensive midfield role, 7.14 rating. Not a lot of assists, but very, very good. So we kind of regretted signing Gonzalez after that because he's on 125k a year, and Justin Bakker is also on 120k a year. So we've got two players that are very good that play in exactly the same role, and Justin Bakker's better. So we'll see if we can shift him. Otherwise, we've just got two really good players that can play that role. Jorge Silva, bought him for 125k. So again, another record signing in consecutive seasons. Central defender, very good mentally. Pretty like on the nose technically, could be better, but very good mentally and very good all over physically. So very happy with this signing. Again, I'm fairly sure he played pretty well for us. The average of 7, and we bought him from Academica. So really happy with this. He should be big in our side over the next few seasons. Now, where there's ins, there must be outs. So if you saw, we bought someone for 125k, and we didn't have that much in our transfer budget. So unfortunately, we had to part with not one but both of our young talents. Paulo Queiroz signed for Basel for an initial outlay of 350k, with 550k in extras. This was really disappointing. I felt that we could have got a lot more money for him. This was I couldn't negotiate the fee. It was completely accepted by the board as they offered it, so I couldn't negotiate. Same goes for Pedro Veranda. $1 million to Anderlecht. Could not negotiate it at all. Really disappointed with this one because I felt like if we'd I could have added a sell-on fee and gotten a hell of a lot of money of this guy, but we just couldn't affect the transfer at all, and couldn't get a loan back either. So this is the main reason. Pedro Veranda is the main reason I signed Gonzalez, because we lost that playmaker, and then we were able, with the money, to invest and get these two players here. This also helped us tremendously financially, but again, if we'd played one more season with these guys, I reckon I would have been able to get a couple $1 million for each of them, which would have set us up for the promotion push. As for other sales, Agdon was a player I signed just in for the League 3, and he just did not have an effect on the team at all. So it was good that we could shift him for 20k. I think he was on about 100k a year, so really good that we could shift him. And the rest are just loans out. The last player I signed, I didn't say, Dedimar Biagio, Brazilian player. Got him on a free from another Portuguese club. Looks like a really interesting player. He plays attacking midfield, but I feel like he might be better as an inside forward or a winger. Given we've got pretty good options everywhere, so he'll just fill in where he can to get some game time. But otherwise, he's again another player that we've signed that's worth a lot financially. So we're starting to make these young signings that will help us financially if we're able to sell them, but otherwise add really good depth and quality to the squad. Apart from that, there's some other really good news. The boys at Gondomar B were able to get promoted. They won if I go back, they won the division. You can see here, title holders. Let's have a look. Won it on team results, I believe. Those are the rules, right? Yeah, results between teams. So they won on results between teams. In the second last game of the season. So they actually had the chance to win it all outright if they won. They drew, almost choked it. Let's see, 79th minute goal from this guy here to draw it up, and we couldn't push for a winner, but this one here was super vital. And this player here you might see next season. But anyway, really happy to start pushing promotion with these guys, and we'll do whatever we can to keep them in the championship, because this is really important to have this B team in and around a really good level so we can develop some of that younger talent. The youth candidates, can't see the summary there, but absolutely nothing of note. Was pretty terrible. This is our best player, defender Wang Xiu. Yeah, he looks decent, but doesn't have a lot of potential. And apart from that, that's pretty much it. I can't show you, unfortunately, the stats from last season because we've actually crossed into the next season. So that's my mistake. But tactically, we didn't change a lot. We did move from using a winger to an inverted winger on the left because we signed Capitas, who's an out-and-out right winger. We had a few players that could play inside forward / inverted wing, and Diogo Oliveira was one of them. So he's been playing left wing. However, he has been very disappointing since we got him. We signed him to a big deal, 180k a year. Signed him, he was our club's record signing at 66k, but he's contributed very little and is not what we're really looking for in a star player. So next year will be his make or break year. If he makes it, it's great, but if he doesn't make it, we're going to have to try and find a way to shift his large wage off the team because it's crippling us at the moment. João Victor chipped in, we got promoted. He scored 30 goals, we got promoted. He chipped in with another massive year in Liga Portugal 2, a league which he'd only scored 6 goals in 3 seasons. He scored 20 goals. Really, really big effort from him. He is getting a little bit, and we're going to look to try and get a better player in because we can't rely on a 32-year-old Brazilian to keep jumping up with double digits goals forever. So even though, I mean, his current ability suggests he's going to be in the Liga 3. So we're going to have to try and find a replacement for him soon if we're going to keep pushing, if we're going to try and push for promotion to the top league. Apart from that, probably a few spoilers here that you can see. There's bids for Conceição coming in, bids for Mexedo, bids for Capitas, and Justin Backer's unhappy. So there's going to be a lot of movement in the squad for the next season. So stay tuned and for the next video where we see what we can do and whether or not we can push for that top spot. So thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.